Shalom everyone. Adonai Oz le'amo yiten, and with that strength, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Parashat Toldot Tafshin Pei. After the parshiot that teach us about Avraham Avinu and the transition from Avraham to Yitzchak, in Parashat Toldot we are in the transition from Yitzchak to Yaakov. In Perek Kaftet, in the prophet Yeshayahu, he has a prophecy about strengthening, religious strengthening. He says that the tzaddikim will go stronger. So said Hashem to the house of Yaakov, who redeemed Avraham. Now Yaakov shall not be ashamed, no longer be ashamed. We are strengthening religiously. And it's the children of Yaakov sanctifying my name and the God of Israel that they shall revere. Dafka, the children, are those who bring Kiddush Hashem, and therefore we will no longer be ashamed. Now we are going to focus on the pasuk where Yeshayahu says that he is speaking to the house of Yaakov, who redeemed Avraham. What does that mean? The Yaakov redeemed Avraham. Rabbi Yitzchak Arama lived in Spain about 600 years ago. In his philosophical book on the Torah, Akedat Yitzchak, he says the following: throughout the stories about Avraham Avinu in Sefer Bereshit, we are following Avraham's growth. Avraham grows from challenge to challenge, from trial to trial. His emunah is growing. He's clarifying his emunah. He's strengthening his emunah. He learns new things about emunah each time. And then says Rabbi Yitzchak Arama, with all of that growth of Avraham, Yaakov is greater than Avraham. Why? Because Yaakov has a higher starting point. Because Yaakov is based on Avraham. He starts already where Avraham reached in his life, and Yaakov continues to grow and to elevate. So in the end, Yaakov's faith, Yaakov's emunah, is brighter and stronger than that of Avraham, because he is based on Avraham. Of course, this is not making little of Avraham, because as Rabbi Yitzchak Arama says, "Ha'hatchala yoter michatzi hakol." The beginning is more than half of everything, and yet at the end, the later generation, Yaakov, is greater than Avraham. And this is what it means that Yaakov redeemed Avraham. Because Avraham reached partial growth of emunah, but Yaakov continued. And the fact that Avraham's growth in emunah was only partial is because he started and did the first stages. But then Yaakov continuing to grow after Avraham, that redeems the partial growth of Avraham. Why am I bringing this now? Because we live today in partial Geulah. Thank God we have partial Geulah. In the last generations, the previous generations achieved tremendous steps forward and partial Geulah for Am Yisrael. My generation was born into a reality that there is a state of Israel in Eretz Yisrael. And it became stronger and stronger. When the state was established, there were 600,000 Jews here. Very quickly, we grew to 1.5 million, to 3 million, 4 million. Now there are more than 7 million Jews in Medinat Israel, almost half of Am Yisrael, and it kept on getting stronger and stronger. So we thought that everything is going smoothly. In the crisis, the painful crisis of this last year, we now know that it's not so simple, that not everything was moving smoothly forward. And now we have a very powerful crisis. And we know that everything that was achieved throughout the last generations is partial Geulah, very partial. And there's still so much more to do. Now it is the responsibility of our generation, so to speak, for Yaakov to redeem Avraham. We have to continue what was done by the generations before us. We have the tremendous gift that they gave us. As much as it's partial, it's tremendous. But it's up to us now to make it continue. Now that we have learned so sharply, so clearly, that the Geulah that we had is very partial, it's up to us to make it continue, and that we should redeem the fact that it was only partial Geulah in the previous generations. It is our responsibility towards the previous generations and the next generations to continue the Geulah, to take upon ourselves the responsibility to make this Geulah even greater, to do new things that weren't done before, because we have to grow even more than they achieved in the previous generations, and in this way redeem the partial Geulah that was achieved by the generations before us. It's quite a challenge. It's quite a responsibility. Let's do it. Be'ezrat Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.